The wait is over. The Wheels Durham roller skating rink is now open. After an extensive and long-awaited multi-year renovation project, this beloved community landmark is once again serving up fun and memories. The best part? The nostalgia has been preserved, but it is now more inclusive and accessible for all. Welcome to City Life. I'm Beverly Thompson. Joining me to talk about this exciting project are Wade Walcott and Stuart Yates. Welcome, and thank you both for joining me today.
Thank you.
So Wade, for those who may be new to Durham, give us a little background on Wheels and why its reopening was such a huge deal.
Sure. Wheels reopening is something that really connects everybody in Durham, I think. Everyone that you talk to has a story to tell or an experience they had there. So because we had the opportunity to reopen it, we've made a lot of people happy.
Mm-hmm. That's all it took, huh? Just reopening Wheels and made a lot of folk happy, huh?
I wish it was that easy, just unlocking the doors, but there was a lot of work behind the scenes to make that happen.
Yeah. So Stuart, I know you're with United Skates, SKATES of America, the company that is actually operating Wheels. So tell us about who your company is and why it was such a great fit for Durham and for Wheels.
We are United Skates. We've been doing roller skating for 50 plus years now. Started in Columbus, Ohio, and now we've got over 20 rinks around the country. Many of those are owned by municipalities, and we run them. We've come up with, through our experience, different ways to make sure that we provide the right kind of involvement in the community, as well as marketing strategies that'll make sure that we can keep the place running at a high level for a very long time.
Well, it does sound like you're a good fit for Durham. If you know anything about Durham, engagement is really big. So Wade, why did the city take on this project?
Sure, it was really kind of by luck in a little ways. We bought the property originally based on the feedback and some other surveys and studies we had done previously about building a pool. And Durham is still in need of a lot more aquatic opportunities and pool opportunities for our folks. So this land came available. Wheels had shut down as privately owned and operated for many, many years. It shut down. The city had an opportunity to purchase the property. And its location was great because it was in an area of the city where we knew we needed to provide more pools. So that's how we became the owners of the property, and we had these plans. Then shortly after, when we started our engagement process, we heard from a lot of folks about, what about Wheels? When are the doors going to open? When can we skate again? So it was really clear to us that we had to work together to figure out how we can make this dream become a reality for folks.
But let's face it, the building was pretty old, right? So what kind of renovations and improvements had to be made before you could actually reopen?
Yeah, we wish we could just unlock the doors and restart things again, but that building had been used and loved hard for a really long time. So we had some great folks. General Services was a great department that really managed a lot of the construction, the design work. But everything from the actual roller rink floor itself needed to be looked at, to the carpet, to the air conditioning, the heating, and a lot of accessibility features in there. So it had been going on since probably the 80s, and a lot of codes have changed throughout the decades. And so we had to make sure it was aligned with those codes to make sure that everyone, regardless of ability, can get in the doors and have a great time.
So Stuart, walk us through, if you will, what the Wheels experience is like. Let's say I'm a parent who decides to take my kids skating. In my case, my grandkids, which I don't have yet, are skating. Can we just show up and buy tickets and go out on the floor?
So the first thing you want to do is you want to make sure you check our schedule, because we set up our day in blocks of time. We call them sessions. And you want to make sure that you show up at the beginning of that session, because at the end, it's over. If you show up with 30 minutes, we do try and let people know that you only have 30 minutes left. And normally we'll have another session coming pretty soon. But we do want to try and make sure that everybody knows. Get there right as close to start time as possible. Right now, we're employing a lot of high school students from the Durham community, and it's a lot of them's first job. So we're limiting the number of people that can come in for the first few weekends to make sure that those employees get used to, handling the volume. So right now, the best way to guarantee entry is to buy your tickets ahead of time. Online at wheelsdurham.com.
wheelsdurham.com. Okay. What is the supervision policy for kids?
So
is there one?
There is. During the day, we allow drop-offs where you can just stop by and drop off your kid and they can skate by themselves. On Friday and Saturday nights, any session that starts 6 o'clock or after, you do have to have a chaperone. Any child age 18 or younger does have to be accompanied by somebody that's 21 or above.
Do the chaperones have to pay to get in?
There is a chaperone or a spectator admission, and this is for all sessions of $4. If you're just going to come in, it'll just be $4.
What about if you're going to skate?
If you're going to skate, we have a variety of sessions that you can come to that have varying prices. The city of Durham has negotiated on Friday nights from 6 to 8:30. We have a discount session of $8 admission, and then it goes up on like Saturday nights. It'll be $14, and there's a wide range in there. We try to have different sessions that will fit everybody's budget, and if you're looking for different things like Disney type music or something like that, we have that for everybody.
So can you bring your own skates or do you have to rent skates?
You can bring your own skates. We do ask that they have clean wheels, that the axles don't come outside of the wheels, and that you do have toe stops if there's a place for them on the skates.
Okay, do you inspect though to see if that's
We
the
do.
case? Okay,
We do.
all right. So people are forewarned, huh?
Correct.
Yeah. So wait, I know the Durham voters passed a bond referendum for that same site back in November. How does the Wheels project fit within the bigger vision for that site?
It's really, I guess, the cherry on top. It really adds to the whole project. So it's here at Merrickmore Park, right off of Hoover Road. So it's the same location Wheels was previously. And just right across the parking lot, we're getting ready to start our new aquatic center. And so this is a pool that, we've talked about here and we've aired it before in previous episodes and informed the community how excited we are as part of the bond project. Thankfully, the voters approved that. And so we'll be planning and constructing that over the next few years. So on this site, if you can picture it, we'll have this great regional draw, almost like resort style pool for everyone. And then right across the parking lot, we have a great roller rink. And we couldn't be happier to have this partnership with United Skates for America to make this happen. And then across the street, we've got the rest of Merrickmore Park with 4 soccer fields, some great playgrounds, and a great shelter. So it truly is something for everybody.
Wow. What's the projected timeline for completion?
We're hoping completion is in 2028.
2028. Okay.
Not too far away.
Not too far. I guess I won't be too old by then, too old to learn to skate, right, Stuart?
That's right.
So I know you said there are a lot of ways that people can learn to skate, including people like me who've actually never skated before or who tried and it wasn't pretty. So tell us about those ways that people can learn to skate.
Okay, so we have, starting from toddlers, we have a skate that will fit over top of their shoes, and those skates can be adjusted. They start out where you can lock the wheels. They don't actually move, and they can walk around. It makes them feel more included with their older siblings or all that, and they'll be out on the skate floor just running around. And then eventually you can just loosen those up until they actually roll.
What size did they go up to?
Okay. Size 1 shoe will usually fit into it. But once they get the actual skates on their feet, then we have Skate Mates for them. It's a balance and stability aid. It looks a little like a walker on wheels, and they can use that. It gives them a lot more confidence until they want to let go of that and skate on their own. Eventually, we're going to get to the point where we have a lesson program that's going to be for children and adults. We've got a local skater that's already teaching classes other places we're working with to get that program set up at the rink right now.
Cool. Okay. So besides skating, what else is available at Wheels?
Okay, so we've got a full-service cafe that's got main thing is pizza. All of your fun movie-style snacks, nachos, hot dogs. Then we have wings and mozzarella sticks, things like that. We also have an arcade where they can go over, they can buy, get their game card, win tickets. We've got a lot of call games where they can leave with a prize. And then we have a stuff shop where we sell a lot of novelty candy and things like that. Fun stuff for the kids.
Cool. What are your hours?
Hours vary every day. Like today, school day out, we're open 1 to 3:30, and then we'll have a session later on today from 4 to 6:30, or 6 to 8:30. And the best way to find out is to check at wheelsdurham.com.
Okay. So wait, I know you get excited when you talk about anything having to do with parks and
course.
amusement. What has been the reaction of residents and visitors?
It's been unbelievable to see, especially even on the opening night, to see so many people we haven't seen for a while, but everyone had a smile on their face. That night was dark and it was raining, but you would never know it if you looked at anybody's face that night. So we're really excited. The other thing that made it great was the process in which we got here. It was getting a lot of community input, and I can't thank my team enough for the resident steering committee that they put together. And so for several months, our team, along with several residents that were interested in bringing Wheels back and what it could be and what it should be, met. And we heard them loud and clear about what their priorities were, and we worked with them everywhere from what the design of the place should look like and what things were really vital for them to how it operates. So having that kind of process together and promising, like our city manager, Bo Ferguson, said, to make this a dream a reality, that night it truly was a promise kept, and everyone was really excited about it.
I agree. I was there, and it was just amazing. Stuart, besides public skating, what are other things that people can have or do at the Wheels?
So we've got a lot of different programs that groups and churches can get involved in. We have special rates where they can call up. If they've got, starting at 15 guests, they can come in and get a special rate for schools, groups, churches, things like that. The schools have really jumped out at our STEM program. We did not expect anywhere near as many field trips as we've already scheduled with the Durham Public Schools, where I think this March is already full of STEM field trips. So those are and then we have fundraisers. We have school fundraisers where schools will schedule a spirit night. It's just them, their community. They can come in, raise funds for their PTA, and just have a good time.
This is so awesome. So just for clarification, can you explain what STEM is, STEM?
STEM is science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. It's taught in all schools from kindergarten all the way through high school. The majority of our field trips fall in kind of the 2nd grade to 8th grade, but we have had as young as kindergartners all the way up to high school classrooms come in for a STEM field trip.
Who knew skating was education? That is wonderful. So Wade, how can people find out more information about Wheels?
Just like Stuart was saying, was check out their website as wheelsdurham.com, where you can find out all the details and the latest information available.
Okay, is there anything else either of you would like to add?
I would just say it's been a really rewarding experience, but also a unique experience based on the roller skating rink and the history of it. And everyone you talk to, like I said, has a story to tell. So it is one of the very few threads that weaves through the fabric of Durham very strong. It's a place, just like a lot of our parks, where it builds community and it strengthens culture. And it's just something we're really excited that it's here today.
Yeah, I remember Councilmember Riss said, local government works.
That's right.
And this is one case where definitely it worked. Thank you guys for being with me. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Now that does it for City Life. Don't forget to follow us on social media, watch us on the Durham Television Network and on YouTube, and you can listen to our podcast on iTunes. I'm Beverly Thompson. Thank you for joining me to learn more about City Life in Durham. So how is Durham different from any other city, or is Durham different in terms of what the needs are and how you customize what happens at Wheels versus what might happen at another rink?
I mean, it really, every city is the same, but it's also different, and we won't really learn until we get a few months into Wheels, kind of what the personality of the clientele is going to be like. We have, certain things that will work in Raleigh and certain things that'll work in Durham, and we're always constantly looking at our sessions and how we can manipulate those to better serve the customers that are coming in and the times they come in, because we might have a slow session in Durham that's really busy in Raleigh, and so it takes just constant, nurture.
Well, that's good to know. And was that a consideration when you chose United Skates of America? Or was that a cherry on top, as you say?
It was cherry on top. It was, we put a request for proposals out there nationally, and it was a competitive process. And obviously the team just really liked all the responses we got from United Skates.
Great.
Tell us how we're better than Raleigh exactly.
Yes.
I just want you to remember, I am Raleigh.
So
Yes, it won't answer that
what kind
question.
of marketing are y'all doing right now? I mean, is it just primarily word of mouth? Are you going through the schools, or how are you doing your marketing?
Word of mouth is great, but we're doing mostly social media and email marketing. Our social media has really gotten better over the past 6 months, and we've got a great person that's working our social media, and he's working with both. He started in Raleigh, and he's doing both Raleigh and Durham now. If you were at the opening, he was out there taking video and got it
great.
up really quick. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, getting the word out, it doesn't seem to be a challenge right now. And it was out before we opened.
Oh, yeah.
So that's one thing that's, even our social media posts have been really positive, a lot of engagement. So we weren't worried about a crowd not showing up.
Stuart, I have a question for you. In the past, whenever I've gone roller skating, I love being able to skate to one of my favorite songs. And often at various locations, customers can request a song. Is that a possibility at the new Wheels location? Can customers request songs? And if they can, how do they do that? What's the process for doing that?
So that is a rink-specific question.
Okay.
If you come to Raleigh, you will not be able to ask for a song.
Okay.
We want to make sure that all the music that we play is very family-friendly, and we don't have anything slipping in that the kids go home and tell their parents about, and we have a lot of complaints. So we have a playlist that just goes straight through, and that's all you can do. At Wheels, it goes back to that, what's the personality of the rink? We want to let that develop on its own. And as we go through that, the session managers there and the general manager there, they'll make that decision on whether or not they can do that.
Okay, so that's still up in the air for the term.
Correct.
Okay.
I have a question as well. I understand when the people were, advocating for Wheels to reopen, there was a Bull City roller derby. Is that going to be happening at Wheels Durham?
I don't know. I was early on. I met with a couple people that were involved with roller derby. To my knowledge, we haven't heard from them since the opening. We are definitely up for it, but since we've opened, we haven't heard anything to my knowledge.
Okay. Any other questions? Nope. Well, that's a wrap.